I'm Patrick Pacheco. Join me as I sit down with writer-actor Charles Busch and his muse, Julie Halston, to discuss their fascinating collaborations on the next Theater, All the Moving Parts. Hello, and welcome to Theater, All the Moving Parts. I'm your host, Patrick Pacheco, here at Chez Josephine on Manhattan's Theater Row, directing the spotlight to those artists who create the worlds of wonder we call the theater. And there are few artists more imaginative than my guests, writer-actor Charles Busch and his muse, Julie Halston. They are the Nick and Nora of theater, whose collaborations go back to 1984's Vampire Lesbians of Sodom, and include The Lady in Question, Red Scare at Sunset, The Divine Sister, and The Tribute Artist. Charles is currently touring his cabaret act, Native New Yorker, and Julie is in the new Broadway musical, Tootsie. Welcome, Julie and Charles, to Theater, All the Moving Parts. And congratulations on coming up on 35 years of a collaboration.
37.
Well, we've known each other 37.
Yeah.
And wow.
But yes, collaboration maybe 30.
So I guess the first time we actually did something together was 84.
84.
Yeah.
So coming up.
Yeah.
So have you reached the point in your careers where you're introduced as the legendary Julie Halston and the legendary Charles Busch?
Well, I am occasionally, cited that way. I don't insist on it though, like he does.
You insist on it?
Well, it's just when you insist on something long enough, people buckle. And it's sort of weird because I'm sort of unknown to most people, but to a small coterie, I am something special. So I think that fame ultimately is if Julie Halston's mother had heard of the person, they were famous.
That's right.
And she was the arbiter of it, and if she hadn't heard of him, you're not a star.
No.
So this is a shout out to your mother. What's your mother's name?
Oh, Dolly.
Dolly of
Dolly
Comac.
Abatelli from Green
Comac.
Drive in Comac, yes. At the age, well, she's passed on at the age of 93, but at the age of 92, she insisted on seeing Hamilton. Insisted. And when she called me and she was like, "Oh, just get me some house seats," right? I was like, just get you some house seats. Do you realize what a phenomenon this is? And she goes, "I saw that Lin-Manuel on, Kelly and Michael. He seemed so adorable. Just get me some house seats."
Good for her.
But we did.
Well, Charles, people now know you through your club act, Native New Yorker. And in it, you describe that Julie was born out of a sheer act of desperation.
There's really, life is a series of flukes and miracles. It really is. And I decided to put on a play which is really making it sound grander than it was, like a sketch, basically, at a very funky place way down in Alphabet City on the Lower East Side when nobody would venture in that neighborhood in the mid-'80s. And I just wrote this sketch. I needed a title for it. I called it Vampire Lesbians of Sodom. We did it for one weekend in this sort of bar, art gallery.
Cracked in.
Yeah, now Julie. And anyway, so we wanted to do a second weekend, and the actress playing the succubus wouldn't do it. And so it was too funky for her. So I went through this list of actresses that I knew, and they all turned me down. And the last one on the list was that blonde girl who worked on Wall Street and had vague notions of being a performance artist, and I called her up, and too quickly she said yes.
Yeah, way too quickly. I'm free. I'm free.
And she was, in your own words, terrible.
She was terrible.
Terrible.
And so when we rehearsed it with the cast in my apartment a couple of times, and she got worse. And finally, Julie's a very intelligent, sensitive girl, and she could see the looks of horror on the faces of these people. So she stopped the rehearsal and said, "I know I stink, but you put me in a wig in front of 60 gay men, and I glow." And she did. She did.
It is really wild that what I realize about myself, and I'm still to this day like this. I mean, you can talk to Scott Ellis. He'll tell you, I'm not good in rehearsal.
Uh-huh.
I am definitely sort of stiff and unnatural. In fact, one of the ensemble members at Tootsie said to me, now that we're up and running, I realize who you are. And she said, I have to be honest, when we were in rehearsal, I thought, why did they hire her? But I'm a little like Liza, I think. It's like, put me in front of that crowd. And I remember Santino Fontana, after our first preview, he just went, like on stage. I could see the look on his face, which was, oh, now you're going to perform. But it's an audience thing.
You had ambitions of being head of Gabler at the time that you met this guy, right?
I thought I was a great dramatic actress from Comac, Long Island.
So actually, the Countess Vulva, I guess, in Theodora, She Bitch of Byzantium, was not in your, you thought was not in your wheelhouse.
It was not in my wheelhouse at the time. I thought I was going to be doing the canon of Strindberg, Tennessee Williams, all the greats.
Well, actually, the thing that was interesting, and I don't want to come off like, Svengali or something, but, I had read a quote when I was in college that made a big impact on me by Jean Cocteau, the French poet, that whatever it is about you that disturbs people, cultivate that because that's who you truly are. And it made a big impact on me.
Great quote.
And really it's so true about Julie because when I met her, I think that I feel that you had gotten the message rather clear from teachers and the world that you were too much. And so she kind of, when she did this sort of weird piece that I had seen her do when I thought she had no talent, she was trying to smooth out all the rough edges, and she put on what we used to call her nice lady voice, trying to smooth out her accent. And,
hello, Patrick, how are you?
Yeah, and so
no Comac, Long Island in that.
And actually, Vampire Lesbians had already kind of been written. Later, I wrote it for her, but she should replace this lady for the first weekend. But then the second play we did a few weeks later, Theodora, She Bitch of Byzantium. Everybody in the cast said, "Oh, Julie's so great. Can't you write her in?" And I said, "Yeah." So this time, actually, I thought, well, she was just so funny just in life and talking about her mother and just her reactions and things. She was like a demented talk show hostess. She would say to me just in conversation, "Charles, thoughts, reflections." She was just so funny. So I just started writing in as the Dowager Empress and Vulva. I just write in Julie-isms, And in a way, I like to think that kind of also gave her the freedom and permission to just, if this is who I am, I'm going for it. And she's had a wonderful career.
Charles, what was the thing that most disturbed people about you?
Well, I think, in 1972, when I was in college at Northwestern, at that time, I think I seemed too gay. I was just too everything. I was too thin, I was too eccentric, too gay. Just, there were no, certainly at that point, there really weren't roles in the repertoire for an androgynous young man. This was before Pryor and Angels in America or Torch Song Trilogy or anything like that. Weren't parts for me.
And you basically said, "Hell, I'm going to write the stuff for myself," and that's how you became a writer.
Yes,
which is a good lesson for other people out there.
I think Charles Ludlam, who was a great influence on me, said one time that there's no door for you to enter, build your own door.
Mm-hmm. It's another good quote.
Yeah.
A good Catholic girl from Comac, Long Island,
yes.
A nice Jewish boy from Westchester, then to Manhattan. How did your Judeo-Christian heritage work into your collaboration?
Well, I think of myself as an honorary Jew, actually.
She's more Jewish than I am.
Yeah. He actually is obsessed with the lives of the saints. I mean, you really are. I mean, you love...
Well, I wasn't raised with any religion at all. No religious background
Your
at all.
Aunt Lillian, obviously,
She adopted
you
me when I
at
was
about
13,
the age of 13?
13, and she was a kind of free thinker, and she seemed to have a kind of a fondness for Catholicism, just in the fact that whenever we would walk down Fifth Avenue, she'd always drag me into St. Patrick's to light a candle in my mother's memory, or to her favorite saint, St. Jude. I mean, she was very... she was an eccentric lady in her way. But growing up, I had no religion, but I would watch old movies on TV, and I just was enraptured with anything about Jesus and nuns. So later, when we did a play many years later, The Divine Sister, which was kind of a parody, or really homage to kind of every movie about nuns in the history of Hollywood. Yeah. It wasn't a blistering satire. It wasn't because growing up, I had no frame of reference as far as, actual nuns in a Catholic school were strict. It was all Ingrid Bergman, who's so lovely, and Bells of St. Mary's, or wacky nuns like Rosalind Russell and Mary Wicks, in The Trouble with Angels. That was my frame of reference.
And all I wanted was to be, a Jewish girl, like in a college dorm with like my Jewish intellectual boyfriend, just reading a lot of books, Kafka, and The Stranger, and
Having an affair with Philip Roth.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I wanted. And it's so funny because even today, Charles will say, because I went to Catholic school, Christ the King, and then Holy Family High School. I mean, please. But he always says to me, even still today, you'll be like, don't you think you'll return to the fold at some point, Julie? Don't you feel a little bit Catholic? And I'm like, no! I want to be that girl, at Barnard, like Rita Goldberg, that's who I want to be, with no bra and a lot of hair.
Or Brenda and Portnoy's Complaint.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess early on, you kind of made the decision, or perhaps the decision was made for you, to be shameless in a way, in terms of, I think you may have said, one of you may have said, we don't care what people think, that was an important formative decision that you made in terms of what people think. Was that you, or was that you?
Well, I guess that's me.
Yeah.
I do think one great gift that I was given, and maybe it's just part of my own personality, and then also I think just growing up with my aunt and my whole family, really, I just never had the concept in my head, what will people think? Mm-hmm. Which is extraordinarily freeing, because that can stop you in your tracks right away.
From day one.
Yeah, and I don't think I ever had that sense. So therefore, I always kind of went for the experience that I just thought would be fun. When I decided to put on, this play in this strange East Village, dive, to me it just seemed like an sort of exciting Sally Bowles-like experience. Uh-huh. And that's why it sort of saves you in almost every awful experience, even to this day when I'm touring around doing my cabaret act around the country, and sometimes it's marvelous, but sometimes it's South Bend, Indiana. I will go no further. But in a way, I'm never ashamed of it, because first of all, it makes a great anecdote. Uh-huh. And rather I think, my aunt taught me when I was very young. She drummed into my head just to not live in fantasy and never lie about yourself, because you become very vulnerable. If you lie about yourself, somebody will expose you. Oh. You never ever want to be embarrassed. Uh-huh. And she really drummed that into me. And so I never lied on a resume. And I guess I learned, I think that it makes the better story when you're in a situation, that's so sleazy or outrageous, rather than try to puff yourself up and make it sound like you're doing something prestigious. It's a better story to tell the truth.
Julie, were you spared that as well in terms of the shamelessness?
A little bit, I think, yes. My mom was Irish, my dad was Sicilian, and Sicilians are a very ebullient bunch. My dad had a large family, and I think there was a part of us, my sisters and I have talked about it, which is, my father was also hard of hearing, which is why we also became very loud.
I didn't know that.
So yes, he was hard of hearing. So that's why we're so loud today. But it's also we're Sicilian, and we're very passionate and loud and blah, blah, blah. And I think that there was that sort of joie de vivre in life, which is just have fun, don't worry about it.
And you know how far to push it.
You know how far to push it, but I think my mom was a little more conscious of, the neighbors kind of thing or whatever. But my dad particularly was such a funny character, always telling jokes. That was another thing. And he really became sort of the mayor of our neighborhood. And he was very shameless,
Ben Bradley, in a very good review of I think, Divine Sister, it was, said something about gutter vulgarity in a very nice way.
I don't quite see it that way, but Ben Bradley has been so great to me, so I don't want to criticize him.
How do you modulate that? How do you moderate how far to go? And
we usually say, Charles, you went too far.
I honestly, perception of what you do is often quite different from the reality of what you do. And I do sometimes think that what people in their imaginations later think of my shows or even my performances are actually quite different from what they actually saw. You know, and I think that people tend to think of me as a rather broad performer when actually I'm rather considering the genre of camp parody that I'm often working in. I'm actually rather minimalist in a sense, and that I prefer to have around me people like Julie Halston, who in some ways are more flamboyant performers than I am. And Frank Rich one time at the Times, when he reviewed Lady in Question, it was so insightful, and he said that I was the cool eye of the comic storm.
Oh.
And I thought that was very, very astute. You know, so I do get kind of bawdy. I mean, there was that whole Sound of Music sort of Maria line in The Divine Sister.
Yes.
That it was pretty baudy, but I'm very selective. You know, I have maybe in a whole evening's play, there might be 4 moments that are of real kind of vulgarity, and I'm very careful who says the line. To certain people, certain actors can kind of get away with it for various reasons.
How does Julie get about getting away with it?
She gets away. She can get away with a lot because there's something essentially so warm and likable about her.
And innocent.
And a little innocent.
Yeah.
Yes, a little innocent. That she can get away with a lot. I can give her things I wouldn't give other people, because I get kind of emotional when I talk about Julie because I love her so much. But she's in life and on stage, she's kind of like a warm toast with butter and jam when you have a cold.
That's a good one. So Julie, is the physicality that you display in Charles Busch's shows different from physicality you may employ in other shows? Is there a specific physicality that you use?
Yeah, I think it is a little more antic. You know, I do have these very long arms and legs, you know, so I think he, you know, really, and, you know, it's very Charlotte Greenwood. Look her up, Google her, you know, but that, you know, that kind of physicality is used well in his work. Obviously, when I'm doing a musical, I'm always laughing when they go, now, Thursday you'll be meeting the choreographer, and I'll say, and that will last a minute. Because there'll be no choreography for me, because I will not be dancing in your little skit. But you know, so in that sense, you know, I actually am more physical. In like for The Divine Sister, I had to do that whole breakdown scene, and that was really choreographed, actually.
But then in You Can't Take It With You, you had this whole extraordinary bit. I don't know. I can't even call it a bit. This whole sequence going up the stairs. That was, I mean, that was big, honey. That was bigger than anything you've done in my shows.
Yeah, and I have to say that I did myself.
It's one of the funniest crosses in the history of comedy
hysterical.
on Broadway.
She stole the show.
It is absolutely the funniest. I still crack up.
Bless you. When I see snakes, it's time to lay down.
Oh dear, but those are real, Miss Wellington.
And I gather that the where you learn that school of Busch, where you learn that rat-tat-tat dialogue of Kaufman and Hart, is what prepared you for this role.
So important.
Quite similar in many ways.
It's so important.
Yeah, if you're doing stylized comedy, and whether you're even doing in
all
Ports of
those
Being Earnest,
MGM.
there's a certain
divas.
kind of thing that you apply to everything.
Charles, your humor, is it born out of pain, as they often say? Is it born out of love?
Love.
The humor is born out of
love of, well, it depends on, I've written in several different styles, but, certainly my classic film parodies are built out of my love for theater conventions. I'm not a, blistering satirist or, that's just not who I am.
Snarky. There's no snarkiness.
No. I know I sound rather saccharine here, but I would say it really is. And I don't write out of pain. I was brought up in this kind of way of not feeling really outsider.
There's not a function of anger in it.
No anger at all.
Anger,
I know
pain.
anger and very little edge, honestly. And I think maybe that's why there's such a variety of audiences have come to see these shows like something like a Vampire Lesbians of Sodom, which you would think that people might have stayed away from, but when something runs 5 years, it's not strictly just a sophisticated crowd. We were getting, the title attracted tourists in different ages. So I think that sometimes people would come to these shows thinking it was going to be one thing, and then there was always kind of a warm kind of theme of
friendship,
surrogate family, or
yeah.
Because I think, Julie, it's because there's an affection for the flaws of the characters that you play, of all the players that you play.
Yes.
That there is an acknowledgement of the flaws, but also a real affection for them.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and the humanity, and I love, and it's developed more as over the past almost 40 years of my career as a writer, that I love a roller coaster of tone. Mm-hmm. I prefer as audience member, and as writer actor, comedy that then can really have a moment of true, emotion, as opposed to just sort of farce level. For me, that's what I prefer, and so my plays, no matter, even if it is a genre spoof, there are always moments, and it gets more and more as I've gotten older, that are genuinely suspenseful, genuinely touching. The new play I'm doing next season at Primary Stages, called The Confession of Lily Dare, is homage to sort of mother love dramas of the early 30s, like Madam X, and it probably has the most extended dramatic scenes of any of those plays I've done. I wanted to challenge, because we tried it out for a few weeks down on the Lower East Side of Theater for the New City, and what I really wanted to show was, could we really have outrageous humor with the fun of this rather antiquated, genre, and get kind of bawdy at times, but could I get this sophisticated 2018 audience to actually be as emotionally involved as they would be at watching these rather gauzy melodramas on, from the 1930s, and I was very proud. I think we really achieved it.
Like Imitation of Life.
Yeah, I mean, people really were crying at the end, and I loved playing those scenes so much.
Julie, you said that once that the success of working with Charles is the idea of confidence, that you actually had to have confidence to pull it off.
Yeah.
Do you ever have a crisis of confidence?
Oh, all the time.
And how do you overcome that?
I put lashes on first. That's number one. That helps. Comedy it's about rhythm, but it's also about clarity, confidence. Any stand-up comic will tell you, if you go out there and you are not confident, the audience will see it immediately and they will turn away.
You have to commit.
You really have to commit, and you have to be clear. Comedy is very rhythmic, so you have to be very clear. You have to have clarity of diction, commitment, and confidence. And when working with Charles, though, I never really suffered that kind of
crisis of confidence.
Crisis in confidence, because the plays were so good that we knew that this was going to happen. I mean, I remember reading 2 pages of The Divine Sister, and I was laughing so hard. And I was just like, okay, we're ready to go,
Also the fact, I write so specifically for you. Down to, at this point, after so many years, down to exactly what consonants or vowel sounds will sound funny with her voice.
Right.
Oh, really?
I've written maybe 13 parts for you over the years in movies or plays. The challenge, of course, is to allow her to do what I call her trip, what she does, but at the same time stretch it in a way so that she's not bored, so or the audience, that they showed, a different facet of her.
Right.
You've brought up a fascinating question, or actually the idea that within this improvisational feel of this improvisational, there's real rigor there.
Oh, yes.
There's
Oh,
no improvisation.
There's
Yeah.
no, no.
It feels that way, though.
Yeah,
At
no
times,
improvisation.
When we get together socially, there's a lot of improvisation.
Yeah.
And does it work its way into the plays
And
when you
it's,
get
and
together
many times
socially?
it does work its way into the play.
Things she says in life.
Yeah. So, like when he'll say like, how was your day or whatever, and I'll be like, well, let me tell you. And then suddenly I'm like, oh, yeah. But doing the play, it is tough,
Very rigorous.
very rigorous, and it must be done a certain way. Otherwise, it's not going to work. It's really that specific.
We have to wrap up, but Charles earlier described you, Julie, as a piece of toast with melting butter. How would you describe Charles, particularly
goodness.
in
Tough
sort
one.
of getting through everything that you've ever had to get through? Whether it's the loss of a husband or anything else that
Well,
he helped you
I
get
actually
through.
think of Charles as, and I think he will get it, which is that I think of him as a multifaceted diamond, and it's jeweled, something with jewelry, something multifaceted, but diamonds are particularly multifaceted.
Mm-hmm.
And, they have a sort of clarity and they have a sort of iciness there.
Can't break it.
Can't break it, but it's also multifaceted. When you look at a diamond, a really beautiful, clear diamond, the different colors, and sometimes it looks frosty, sometimes it's clear, and that is how I would describe him. He's a multifaceted diamond.
Thank you, Julie.
Well, this was delightful. This was
thank you.
wonderful. It was
Thank
great.
you. Thank
It
you,
was really
Charles.
lovely.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. We'll be back with another look at the bold and singular artists who live and work only to astonish us. See you next time.